At this time, it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker. He has a long military resume and record of service for our country. So I want to review a few of those things with you as I introduce him. Major Nate Blackwell grew up in Fredonia, Kansas. After graduating high school, he enlisted in the Marine Corps as an infantryman. He later graduated from Marine Corps recruit in San Diego on August 29, 2003, and reported to 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment in November 2003 after completing the School of Infantry. PFC Blackwell deployed to Iraq with 2-1 in February 2004. Returning in September, Corporal Blackwell attended Infantry Squad Leaders course from October to December 2004. Corporal Blackwell returned to Battalion Landing Team 2-1 and served in the Sniper Platoon for the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit and the workup to deployment. Battalion Landing Team 2-1 returned to Iraq in September 2005 and participated in Operation Steel Curtain. Okay. Corporal Blackwell reported to Division School's 1st Marine Division in April 2006 to serve as a helicopter rope suspension training instructor. Corporal Blackwell was promoted to the rank of Sergeant in July 2006 and departed active duty in 2007 in June. From 2007 to 2011, Sergeant Blackwell attended Haskins Indian Nations University in Lawrence, Kansas. He was also serving in Reserve Village for the 24th Marine Regiment in Kansas City, Missouri. During this time, Sergeant Blackwell enrolled in the PLC program, attending Officer Candidate School in 2009 and 2010. Nathan was promoted to the rank of Staff Sergeant in 2010 and accepted a commission as a Second Lieutenant in May of 2011. Upon completion of Infantry Officer School, Second Lieutenant Blackwell reported to 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines in October 2012 and served as a rifle platoon commander for the workup and deployment to Okinawa, Japan in October 2013. Upon returning home, 1st Lieutenant Blackwell was assigned to command a Cat platoon. Battalion Landing Team 3-1 assembled under the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit and deployed again in May of 2015. Upon returning from the Marine Expeditionary Unit, Captain Blackwell assumed command of India Company until executing orders to the recruiting station in Kansas City in March 2016. Captain Blackwell served as the operations officer for the recruiting station until December 2018. He then attended maneuver captain's course on Fort Benning, Georgia from January to June of 2019. Captain Blackwell reported to the 3rd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion to serve as H&S Company Commander from July 2019 to January 2020. Captain Blackwell joined and commanded Bravo Company in Okinawa, Japan in January 2020 until redeploying to 29 Palms, California in June of 2020. Nathan was then promoted to Major while being deployed and served as a Battalion Operations Officer for the 3rd Light Armored Reconnaissance from June 2020 to June 2021. Major Blackwell reported to Army Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas in July 2021 and earned a master's degree in operational studies. Major Blackwell assumed command of Recruiting Station Milwaukee in June of 2022. Major Blackwell's personal awards include the Meritorious Service Medal, the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal with Gold Star in lieu of a second award, and the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal. We are most pleased and honored to have with us today an outstanding American, an exemplary Marine, my dear friend and brother, Major Nathan Blackwell.
Bam!
Jamie, thank you very much for the kind words. Mayor Swartzen, sir, thank you very much. Distinguished guests, I just want to take a moment and I want to recognize all of our veterans that are in the crowd today. If you would please stand. If you can, please.
Fucking rock and roll.
Very good, awesome. Thank you very much. As we begin our Memorial Day ceremony, I'm looking at Jamie's notes. version control issue. There we go. All right. Jamie ran off with my nose. All right. I'll leave that there. All right. Thanks again. Bear with me here. I'll do my best not to put anybody to sleep. We're only going to be here for 4 to 5 hours. So I hope you're comfortable. Get set here. All right. Great honor today for me to be able to take pause with you all and join you in remembering the sacrifice and accomplishments of those who gave their lives in service to our great nation. Since 1866, our citizens have gathered to remember our fallen and those who have gone before us. Solemn moments accompany us each year on Memorial Day. But over the last 15 years or so, I have grown to orient and ground my thoughts and feelings in admiration, challenge, and hope, rather than sorrow. If you Google the word admiration, short definition of respect and warm approval is what you'll find on your screen. As I think through some of the people I have admired most, some very intimately, some from a distance, I can't help but think that the word admiration is too narrow for how I think. There will always be a twinge of sorrow, but other words such as gratitude, inspiration, aspiration, and love combine to complete the admiration that I mean to you, the admiration I think we all have for men and women that just stood for us briefly at the beginning of this meeting. My head football coach in college would begin every post-game routine with a few moments of silence. We would shake our opponent's hands, then we would gather together as a team and take a knee. Coach would step in front of us and say, take a few seconds and just think about someone who got you. A family member, a high school coach, a mentor, somebody. Somebody did something to help you put yourself in the position to enjoy today's game, to compete, to step out in the arena and give it your all. I want to take a brief moment with you all and just allow each of us to think about someone we admire, a person or a handful of people maybe that are intrinsically memorialized in our own hearts. Whether they served in the military or not, whether others know you admire this person or not, just take a minute.
Wow.
Now, if you were as fortunate as I am, several admired names and faces came to mind. Some of you may have landed on someone from the greatest generation. My grandfather was of the greatest generation, George Bowers. He grew up in the panhandle of Texas during the Depression. He was one of the older children in a stack of about 6 kids. He came of age just in time to serve as a paratrooper in the Pacific Theater in World War II. He very quickly earned the rank of staff sergeant, honorably completed service shortly after the war's end, and then moved to Kansas where he would meet my grandmother. His dedication to his fellow citizens would persist for the remainder of his life. If I remember right, he only completed the 8th grade in school, but he was quite accomplished as a lifelong learner. He showed his children how to own their own education. He was a man of few words, worked hard, loved and led his family, and was quite invested in his community. His attributes as a somewhat silent but selfless servant leader were most evident after his passing, because it wasn't until after he was gone that many folks realized the breadth and depth of his impacts across the community, because his absence created a void in the community service. I'm proud to say also that I had a childhood friend that was of the greatest generation. I met a gentleman named Ted Gray when I was 3 years old. I'll never forget it. Ted was 64 when we met. Though we were decades apart in age, Ted and I got to have a unique friendship for about 21 years before he passed. Ted was a Marine and had served as a radio operator in the 28th Marine Regiment. Again, coming of age just in time to enter the Pacific Theater, and he landed and fought on Iwo Jima. Like my grandfather, Ted continued service within his community for another 6+ decades after the war. He worked as a stenographer for the railroad, was devoted to his wife Bernadine and their children, and spent much of his free time coaching in youth recreation leagues, mentoring youth in organizations like Boy Scouts, and leading our community through Rotary and Lions Club projects. Many of us are thinking of men and women from the greatest generation, people like my grandfather and my friend Ted, who continue continued to serve their nation by investing in their local community for the following 50 years after the war, and led lives worthy of those who had sacrificed their own. I get that same feeling this morning here in Sheboygan, and I'm very honored to be in your presence. Some of us may have reflected upon service members from a more recent conflict, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm perhaps, to name just a few. Or we're thinking of some people that we're thankful that we still have with us. I think about my own generation of young enlisted Marines from 2003 and 2004. I think about the 300 or so young Marines from Charlie Company, Infantry Training Battalion, West Coast, from September to November of 2003. 18 and 19 years old, about 300 of us. Most of us would find ourselves in the Anbar province in Iraq, roughly 4 months after completing our initial infantry training. And unbeknownst to us at the time, this company of roughly 300 would have its own list of killed in action and wounded in action by the close of 2005. Some of us may have thought about an impactful leader we've known and had. I think about my first company commander in 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, Major Ray Mendoza. He was a big guy with a big smile and a big heart. He very quickly earned a reverent level of respect from us. Though he was a big guy who had wrestled at Ohio State, something we all paid close attention to, we were all more afraid of letting him down or disappointing him. Failing to be as good as he believed that we could be was worse than any other consequence for poor judgment or mistakes made. Major Mendoza was killed in action almost 18 years ago this November, and I still feel challenged each day not to let him down. But for all the inspiration, respect, and gratitude I had and have for Major Mendoza, it was and has been the love and dedication demonstrated by his wife, Karen, and their children that has been most awesome. After his death in November 2005, our battalion continued combat operations and did not rotate home until February of 2006. That homecoming would be the best day of our lives for most of us. Some of us have been to those homecomings before, crowded with spouses and children, parents, all waiting to reunite with their Marine, their soldier, their sailor, their airman, after a long combat deployment. Though she would not be reuniting with her Marine that day, Karen Mendoza was there to welcome us home and to hug us and to make us feel loved and appreciated. That type of courage and selflessness and love is what I prefer to dwell on days like today. It gives me hope and inspires me to seek the daily challenge to be my very best. Though I fall short every day, I will get out of bed with the intention of living a life worthy of those who sacrificed everything they had. A life worthy to those whose lives were forever changed by a sudden loss, but chose to translate their sorrow and grief into devotion and love for fellow citizens and country. As you reflect on those who you admire, I hope you also find the inspiration to challenge yourself to give your very best for your family, your place of work, and your community. Because it is this type of demonstrated spirit that has allowed us to thrive through uncertainty and conflict since the conception of our great nation. And it will be this type of enduring spirit that will carry us through conflict to come. The future always has a hint of uncertainty, and there is always an enemy lurking at our gates. But I find hope everywhere when I slow down, look, and listen. My hope is in the Creator, but I see it in the smiles of my children. I'm inspired and given hope by the courage and selflessness I see in my wife every day. I see hope in the majority of the short encounters I have with citizens and nice folks in the communities across the state of Wisconsin. And I certainly see and feel it here this morning with you fine Americans here in Sheboygan. Finally, on a day of memory and admiration for those who have gone before us, I also find a positive challenge and hope in the young men and women who continue to raise their hands and say, "Here I am, send me, I will go." And it is a great privilege to introduce one of those young volunteers giving us hope right now from right here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, a rising senior, Sheboygan South. Please welcome Miss Naomi Harder. Thank you.
At this time, I would ask all who are able to please stand. Remove any hats or caps that you are wearing, and join me in remembering those men and women who have given their lives to serve this country. As you remember those closest to you who have served and sacrificed, we will observe a minute of silence in their honor. Thank you.
Before we do our wreath ceremony, let's have one more round of applause for Major Nathan Blackwell, his service and his veterans. At this time, we will have the presentation of the wreaths at our replica Tomb of the Unknown. I ask the presenters to please take their places and to please remain in formation until after the last wreath is laid.
Where I fall apart.
Representing the United States Army, Sergeant Jason Knightis.
God.
Representing the United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Travis Bucco.
Damn straight. Ah, cool, dude.
Representing the United States Navy, retired missile technician and submariner, Siggy Eckert. Mr. Eckert is joined by his wife of 40 years, Lana, who served alongside of him for 20 years.
Oh, man. Girl. You're fun, baby. Fucking buffalo kid.
representing the United States Coast Guard, Boatsman Mate 3rd Class Peak, right here from our Sheboygan Coast Guard station, currently in active duty. Representing the United States Air Force, Staff Sergeant Artis Melvin.
No kidding. Why I must be missing something.
At this time, I'd like to ask all of our wreath presenters to come stand up here next to the stage, next to the wreaths, please.
Oh my God. That is the coolest crap I ever seen, man.
I'm going to ask my co-MC and United States Army veteran Damian Mahorn to assist me as we take a moment and deviate from our printed program. Today we remember our fallen servicemen and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. It is right and good that we remember them today. Their brothers and sisters in uniform who did return, many of you who join us today, are a poignant reminder of today's importance. While we remember the fallen, we also must celebrate those who have come home. They carry on the stories, traditions, and memories of their fallen brothers and sisters. We have someone with us today for whom that carries a special significance. In 2015, I personally became involved with Sheboygan's Memorial Day efforts. However, this isn't about me in the least. Just about every year since then, I'd get an email in February or March from a deployed member of the U.S. Army. He didn't ask what I thought of the Brewers this year. He didn't ask if it stopped snowing yet in Wisconsin. And he didn't ask for my opinion on latest current events. He simply wanted to make sure that Sheboygan was honoring his brothers and sisters in uniform, and if I was working hard to make sure Memorial Day would be properly commemorated. Thousands of miles away from his wife and family, facing God knows what kind of adversity, and he wanted to make sure I was doing my job. This Thursday, June 1st, after 22 years, that soldier is retiring from the United States Army and Wisconsin National Guard. He is here with us today and is among our wreath presenters. Sergeant Jason Knightis, I want to thank you for making sure I was doing my job all those years, but thank you doesn't seem to come close to showing the gratitude that I, my family, our community, or all those gathered here today have for you doing your job for 22 years. Thank you, sir. Welcome home and Godspeed. The detail is dismissed. Thank you.
That watch guy, see the guy on the right? Yeah, the right of the headstone. He's been standing there like 3 hours. And he don't. Like he got that down, man.
At this time, the Sheboygan Pops Band would like to play a musical selection.
Yeah. Well, I just found out what you're trying to want.
We are always grateful to the many men and women who have served in various branches of the armed forces to protect the freedom that we experience as citizens of the United States. Although Major Blackwell had all the veterans in the audience stand so we could acknowledge you, at this time, the Sheboygan Pops Concert Band would like to play a selection entitled Armed Forces, the Pride of America. And it includes the song for each branch of the armed forces. So as we play this selection, if you served in the particular branch that I'm going to announce, please stand, continue standing, so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you for your service. Armed Forces, the Pride of America. United States Army. United States Marine Corps.
Yeah,
United States Navy. United States Coast Guard. United States Air Force. Because they were playing their musical instruments at the time, they did not get to stand with their branch, and I know we have several veterans in our organization, the Sheboygan Pops Concert Band, so I'd like to ask them to stand at this time so we can acknowledge them too. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to call back up Pastor John Putnam for the benediction.
Please join me in bowing your heads. Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to have come together today to remember. God, to remember and to never forget the sacrifice that has been paid for each of us who are so blessed to be Americans. I pray today, Lord, for every Gold Star family that still today is suffering loss. Still today, Lord, is hurting in their heart. And still today are missing their loved one that's fallen. God, would you bring comfort to them right now? Would you bring your peace that passes all understanding? And would you bring the strength that only you can give? Lord, I pray for every service member that is still serving today. I pray, God, a prayer of protection upon them, whether they are here at home or abroad. I plead your blood over them, God. And I pray, Lord, that our country would continue to stand for freedom. And we thank you for all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I would like to ask everyone who is now able to please rise, remove any headgear, and I would ask the VFW 9156 Honor Guard and Rifle Volley team please conduct their operations. Thank you.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us wear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair. Beside her and guide her through the light with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home. Sweet home. oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. America,
I'll do it.
my home.
I gotta remember why I have.
This time, I would like to recall our Sheboygan Mayor Ryan Sorensen and Major Blackwell to the podium for a moment, please.
I'm a little taller. There we go. Well, first of all, happy Memorial Day, everybody. This is truly a great day in the city of Sheboygan, just to demonstrate how patriotic and loving Freedom Our community is here to recognize those that made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our freedoms that we love and cherish every single day. So first of all, thank you so much for being here this morning. Second of all, Major Blackwell, welcome to Sheboygan. We brought some beautiful weather for you, and whenever we have this program, we also just like to honor and thank the keynote speaker. So on behalf of myself and the City Council, I would like to present, thanks Jamie, juggling a few things here. Just would like to present you a flag that flew over City Hall. Just want to recognize your distinguished service to our country and coming to Sheboygan. So thank you so much. And then obviously a certificate saying that it's real and authentic. So come back anytime.
Before making some closing remarks and our final musical selection, there are several thank yous that are in order this morning. I would first like to thank Kohler Credit Union for the continued financial support of this event. To all of our parade participants and those gathered here today on stage, the men's a cappella chorus, our wreath presenters, thank you for sharing your talents with us. To my co-MC and dear friend and United States Army veteran Damien, thank you. I would also like to thank the City of Sheboygan, Mayor Sorensen's office, the Sheboygan Police Department, who safeguarded all of our intersections and provided us with a safe parade route, and the Sheboygan Department of Public Works. A lot of you don't see this, but every year at dawn, as the sun is coming up, the Sheboygan Public Works team is out here setting up the chairs. They do the official ceremony for lowering the flag, and they'll raise it at noon. They ensure that all the fine details are here in order bright and early in the morning. So thank you, gentlemen. And a sincere thanks to the incredible team who are part of Lakeland University's student-run business organization known as Launch, specifically Kim Lipham and John Putnam, who organized today's parade. John Sr. is our pastor who led us in our benediction and invocation. His son helped organize the parade and actually coordinated the parade. So from one dad to another, well done, Dad. And finally, a personal note of thanks to my wife, to my own son, who's one of our tomb guards here, and to my dearest friends gathered here today. I say this every year. I call, I email, I text, and I'm absolutely amazed at the number of my friends and family who answer that call with a resounding yes. Each year, we invite more people to Sheboygan. We broaden our scope and our impact. We show them what a great community we have, and that family grows. I tell all my good friends, and you guys know this, that my Memorial Day family is my family, and you are always welcome back here every year. So thank you very much. The men and women we remember here today gave every day of the rest of their lives so that we could be free. Is it too much that we should give but one day, Memorial Day, honoring their service, sacrifice, bravery, and heroism? If not on Memorial Day, then when? If not us, then who? If not on one day, then for how long? They did not ask, why me? Why now? How much longer? Thus, how can any of us, afforded the comforts of their sacrifices, not reflect on this Memorial Day and give thanks that such men and women lived? They called themselves soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen. They called themselves Americans. Today and every day, we remember them as our fathers and mothers, our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters. We truly are their witness. We call them our heroes, and may they forever rest in peace under the spacious skies of one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Sheboygan Pops Concert Band is going to conclude our ceremonies with one more musical selection. Before they do that, I want to invite all of our servicemen and women in uniform and their families to come forward after. A lot of you know it's tradition that we take a picture. Community members, if you would like to, we certainly welcome that. We share this day and celebrate this day and honor this day together. With that, Sheboygan Pops Concert Band. That officially concludes our ceremony. Brat Fry brought some hamburgers are hot in the back with the Marine Corps League. Thank you, everyone.
Why can't you buy a bride?